Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where we are currently making some graphics to be able to display our packages that we're generating. Now, for the next one, for parcel, it's going to be very similar, but slightly different. Like, parcels mainly differentiate based on how tall they are, right? So we can have one that's like essentially 2x on the z-axis, but as you notice, this messes with our scaling of all of the things like that. That's not the way we're going to do this. Instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to go into front ortho view, numpad 5 to go into ortho, numpad 1 to go into front, head into wireframe mode, and we're just going to select everything here, and we're just going to grab it on the z-axis and move it up about, I'm thinking about 0.5. And then the same thing for everything below the origin point, and we will grab that and move that down by the same 0.5. And that's a package. That said, I didn't duplicate it, so we should probably do that. Let's go ahead and move this guy over here to about -2. We'll call it -2.5, so there's a little space between them, and we'll go ahead and name this parcel. There we go. No, we don't need to actually, I should save this. So, where are we? I don't even know where we are. We should go into Operation Logistics, which is here. Excellent. And then into Assets, Meshes, and then we'll name this as, say, parcels.blend. Okay. There's that saved. Now we're going to do the same thing that we just did here. We need to be in vertex select mode. Grab it up, 0.5. Grab this down, 0.5. Excellent. And there we have a parcel. Next, we're going to be making a crate. Maybe. Okay, now we're going to be making a crate. Sorry about that, I had to sneeze for a moment there, but I did manage to get to my mute button, so that's excellent. So we're going to go ahead and just create a cube for the crate. We'll move this over 2.5. And then there's a couple of things that we're going to want to do for the cube. First thing we're going to want to do is we're essentially going to want all of the faces to be uniform. So we're probably going to go about doing that with what, a mirror modifier? Or an array modifier? With like... Yeah, I mean, we could do it that way. But I don't think so. I think that I'll just do this manually, rather than making it fancy. So we'll just select all of these faces, and we are going to go, instead of median point, individual origins. Now, that doesn't do exactly what I wanted to do, but what we can do is we can grab these two faces here, and we can extrude and scale to about 0.9. That should be good. And we'll do the same thing to these two faces, 0.9, and then to these two faces, 0.9. And now that we have them disconnected, we can select all of these, like so, and just extrude them along their normals, like this. And then I want to just bring them in ever so slightly, maybe about 0.05, so they don't overlap, because if we extrude these too far, they'll start overlapping. We don't want that. So this is fine, right here. Now, the next thing that we need to decide is what level of detail do we want on these crates? Do we want them to be made out of individual boards, or is this enough mesh detail right here? Well, that's a good question. I mean, if we want them to be made out of individual boards, then the way to do it would be to probably, no, not triangulate, would be to probably put in like loop cuts. Except we'd want it to be just this face, and it would be a little awkward. Like, we'd want to detach the face and then put in a loop cut. And then essentially just set that origin to be here, and then rotate it around a bunch of times. It'd be pretty doable. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to detach that out with P, so the selection, and I did duplicate it before I brought it out, just so you're aware. And let's say that this is made out of... We'll say it's made out of 5 cuts. So we're actually going to want to do 10 cuts for 5 boards here. Well, 6 boards, I think, is what it's going to be. But we'll go ahead and grab these, and then we can scale them purely along the x-axis, if it lets me. Scale x. Oh, I think it's because we're on individual origins. We need to be on median point again. Yeah, there we go. And I just want to scale the gap of this to be about 0.1. And the same thing here. Scale x 0.1. I need to actually select these. Scale x 0.1. Scale x 0.1. And scale x 0.1. And that gets us this. Now, I do want to hide the, not J, I want to hide with H the box that we're working with for now, because I want to actually be able to see what's going on here. And then we don't actually want these little areas here to go away, even though there's gaps between the boards here and there technically isn't anything there. We want to essentially simulate the lack of lighting inside. So let's just take this in about 0.1, I think. About like that. And we do not need the faces on the top or bottom because those will be covered by the actual box mesh. There we go. And we'll go ahead and delete those faces like so. Excellent. And we'll go ahead and bring the box mesh back in with Alt-H, and obviously you can see we lose all of our detail pretty much immediately because these faces are hiding it. So let's just go ahead and delete these faces at this point, like that. Excellent. And you can see that actually this is in too far. So let's go ahead and come up here, go into vertex select mode, and we want to bring this back 0.05. Is my numlock gone? There we go. I accidentally hit numlock at some point, clearly. Okay. So, as you can see, there are currently not any faces in here where we need them to be. At least in some cases. So let's go ahead and hide our boards at this point. And let's clean up the internals of this mesh. So for that, I'm going to take it out of ortho mode because that's slightly annoying. And we're going to go inside here and just take a quick look at what's going on. So I think the best way to do this would be to bring this down this full 0.1 amount. So we'll bring this down to a Z of 0.9 so that way we can just connect all of this up. So we'll do a triangle here. And then we will just connect all of these otherwise with quads. About like so. And then we'll need to do, of course, the same thing going down this direction. That is not the correct vertice. There we go. And up here. Excellent. These don't matter nearly as much, but I want to make sure that this frame is solid because you never know what we're going to have exposed here. Okay, and now we just need to do the bottom. That was not the right vertice, was it? Nope. Ah, yes. We did not grab this up in the same way. So let's go ahead and just undo this face here, and then grab this edge loop, 0.05, and bring that right on up. Perfect. Okay, and we'll just finish up this here. Now, if this being in a little bit here is a problem, we can fix that later. We'll see if it is or not. I'm not actually sure if it will be yet. That's the wrong vertice again. Okay, there we go. Now let's go ahead and Alt-H that. And here's the magic of the origin being here, the origin of this mesh here being at the center. We can just Shift-D, rotate along the Z-axis 90 degrees. Again, rotate along the X-axis, actually along the Y-axis 90 degrees. And along the Y-axis 180 degrees. And look at that. There's a crate. Is it not amazing? And theoretically, this crate, if we were to set a hinge for it, we would be able to do something kind of like this. I mean, we'd want to set the origin like here, so it'd be able to tip up like this, but we'd be able to open it like that. But there's no inside faces for this mesh, so that's not really an option. As far as the material goes, I think we're just going to make this be super, super simple. We're going to put on a material, and we're going to name this material wood for now. And for the purposes of right now, we may come back to this later, but for the purposes right now, oh boy, we're going to have to set this for all of these, or we could just Control-J all of this, which is what I'm going to do. Control-J, go into it, and let's go ahead and remove doubles. Tools, remove doubles. There we go. 56 vertices removed. Okay, and now all of them should have wood. That came out wrong. But as a material, all of them should have the material wood. So let's go ahead and give this a, I don't know, slightly woodish color. Maybe a bit darker. Maybe a bit lighter, actually. Yeah, that'll do for now. The specularity can be turned way down. A little bit of specularity on wood is okay, but we don't want much. Okay, so there is a crate. One thing we could do is we could put a shipping label on it, like right up top. I think it's fine though. Okay, so then we would need a shipping container. For that, I want to go ahead and create a cube. And then we'll just place this right about here, at about 5. Question is, do we care about relative scale? Not really, we just want these things to be obviously differentiatable. Is that a word? Differentiatable? I'm not sure. So for a shipping container, it would need to be like 3 long or so. And then otherwise, that appears to be about right for size. But we're going to need to actually pull open a reference because I don't have a good idea in my head of what this looks like. So shipping container images. Here we go. Here's an image of a shipping container. Open image in new tab. There we go. This'll do. Excellent. So here we have a shipping container, and we can see that primarily you've got this little bit of a floor here. You've got these doors here, and then you've got this like corrugated steel, and then a little bit of a lip up here. We can't really see the top here, unfortunately. Let me see if I can find one here where we can see the top of the shipping container a little bit. Here's one. Open image in new tab. So it's kind of hard to see, but it looks like it's the same corrugated material. So that's going to be what we're going to be going for. So we need to have a little bit of a floor here, and the floor, if we look at our reference image, the floor is actually not at the ridge point of the corrugation, interestingly. I would have expected it to be, like up here. Like, isn't that going to allow water to potentially get in? Seems a little weird. I mean, maybe there's a wall there, but it kind of doesn't look like it when you have it open. Here, see, it's just bare corrugation. But here it is flush. So I guess we'll just create ourselves an edge loop. And we'll say that 0.85 or 0.9. I think 0.85 is a little closer to what we see. And then a second edge loop up top, and this is much higher, so like 0.95. About like that. And then this would be our doors, so we would need to have an edge loop here, but we'll do that in a separate object. And then these would all be corrugations here. So we can go ahead and, well, we don't really want to delete them. Back here, we need to look at our reference again. Yeah, there's going to be this same lip back here, I think. So let's just go ahead and create that quick. About 0.95. That's too big. 0.99. We'll make it be the same lip size in a moment. So this is an edge length of what? I don't know, it's kind of hard to see. 0.03. Right here. It needs to be 0.04625 to match up. So let's go ahead and bring this to about here. We're going to need to zoom in on it a bit, I'm afraid, if we want to get this accurate. 0.046. Close enough. Close enough. Okay. And then we need the same edge loops here. So we need 2 edge loops. And then we'll bring this in this way to the same 0.04625. Or very close to it. 0.04628. Close enough. And then we'll do the same thing over here. 0.046. Where are you? There you are. 0.04626. Close enough. Okay. Now, do we need to do the same thing up here? Well, absolutely we do. So let's go ahead and create ourselves an edge loop right here. And let's make that 0.04695. That's pretty close. Not quite what I'm looking for, though. 3.8 is close enough. Okay. So here we have our basic shipping container shape. But it is time to put a cut in, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode we will finish modeling our shipping container. Subscribe for more, and I will see you all next time.